what really drives people to my business is that they want to be a part of this environment and they want to be a part of this world that is so sexy and aspirational and beautiful and curated. And I think that's what separates the good from the greats.
Welcome to Not Quite a Podcast, where we talk with founders, marketers, writers, builders, and designers about life, business, marketing, and more. And sometimes we even say something smart. When that happens, we take the best of our talks, tidbits, and wisdom and post it here for our listeners.
Now, this is your first venture on your own?
It's so I have a business partner. It's our first venture where we've done everything ourselves, from raising the capital to opening the front doors to setting all the standards to building the brand. The first time we've done it from A to Z, all ourselves.
How does that feel? I had my first business card when I was 14. I had a smart stint as a fryer cook. I never wanted to be around a deep fryer again in my life.
Yeah.
So it's always been me, my business partner. You now have taken on that role, and how does that feel? There's nobody else to blame, right?
It's funny because I'm a bit conflicted. I have a lot of friends who are founders, entrepreneurs, and young CEOs. And I'm always envious of people who have took the leap quicker or at a younger age than I did, because I'm just having so much fun and I can't imagine not doing this. At the same time, I think what has allowed both me and my business partner, Victor, to really excel in this and kind of take market share and move quickly in our industry is that we have such a robust corporate background. And that has really been a big unlock for us is we walked in on day one, understanding that we know exactly how the best in the world competes, how they structure their teams, how they build their SOPs, what they focus on, what they don't focus on. And my time at Ralph Lauren just totally reframed the way I think about competition in food and beverage. Because all that I talk about with my team now is how do we build the best brand? You want to feel amazing. You want to be seen and be taken care of. And to the outside world, we have to build this brand that is so aspirational, right? That we've created this lifestyle that is just so palpable and curated and designed and beautiful. And the people in the photographs look awesome and look super cool. And you really want to be in this world. And so for us, that's what competition is. So much of my time in corporate America and with world-leading luxury brands has influenced how I eat and how I think about prioritizing things as an entrepreneur, as a CEO. That said, I don't ever plan to go back to that world. Victor and I make every single decision, from how to allocate capital to do we like the way the napkins look on the table, right? And so it's a really intellectually rigorous job, and I would never trade it for the world.
Yeah. I mean, you learned a lot, right? And I learned a lot to get to where I'm at now, 20 plus years into it. I mean, I didn't feel like we really arrived or earned our seat at any table. I think there's a lot of the times is do I deserve to be in the room?
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? That took some time, but I got over that, 10 plus years ago when we worked with Ferrari. So when we were working with Ferrari, that was it. I was like, all right, I don't know that there's any higher brand than this. And a lot of times I would say to anyone, fake it till you make it, or just believe in it. Right? You can go into any room and just own it and be there. But we had two different paths to getting here, and you've now, to your own testament, you're not going back, right? You've now been attacked by this plague, this addiction, I would say, of entrepreneurism, and the world is your oyster, and that's the entirety of the oyster, all the good and the bad that comes with it. It's comforting. I mean, or maybe you're in a state of denial yet. I don't know. You're pretty new to this entrepreneurship.
I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah, there's stages to this.
I'm waiting for my deep valley, which is inevitable. It's something clicks in your head when you move from a corporate role where everyone talks to you about work-life balance, right, to being an entrepreneur where it does not exist at all, as you know very well. And so you have to put yourself in this headspace of okay, I need work-life integration in a way that feels healthy and natural. I'm never not working, right? But I'm also I can go out to dinner and I can have a glass of wine with a friend and I can check my emails in an hour, right? It's a different kind of working. I don't foresee myself ever truly taking a week off ever. right, in the future, but I'm much less stressed than I was, right? It's a different kind of stress. Obviously now, like, to your earlier points, everything is my problem, right? Where in previous roles, like if a pipe bursts, like, don't call me. What am I going to do? Right now, there's no one else to call, right? So someone's got to fix this. So it's a different kind of stress in the sense that you're always kind of humming along, but you don't have this like super severe like peaks and valleys of stress that turn off and on with the workday. I don't know if you felt the same way, but that's been a huge adjustment for me. I sleep better. I work way harder. I work all the time, but it's a different level of like of stress for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think stress has a negative connotation to it that it
Totally.
doesn't really deserve. It's not, not all stress is bad. There is definitely an unhealthy stress, and there is definitely good stress. I mean, you and I are doing things that are very productive. We're working hard towards a vision that we have and leading others in that quest to that vision, right? I mean, like that's as leaders, that's what we do. We're convincing people, like, I want to go from here to here, and I want to take you with me. And for whatever reason, people decide to follow us. That, you know, I'm still trying to figure that one out, but that's what we're doing. And in a lot of ways, pioneering into new spaces and new lands. So we have to build systems. We have to build mechanisms and processes to be able to support what we've done. Otherwise, it's you. Like, just because you don't have a documented process, you still have a process. It might be the lack of a process, but it's still there, and it might be you. You are the only one that can make that one particular drink. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny about like, so we, with our team, we always use the term defaulting. And so we always tell people to avoid your default position, right? So we push people pretty hard and look, we're a baby brand. And so I think for us, it's when we've identified a brilliant head bartender, right, who now has leadership roles, and right, and who now oversees a team and a program and represents the brand when we travel around the world. It's easy for him to default to making drinks. If things are busy, he gets in, it's tons of tickets. He's got to pick up some slack. He makes the drinks. And in any business where tactical things have to get done to achieve a deadline, someone's got to do the work, right? But we work so hard to pull ourselves out of our default mode, right? For me and Victor, our default mode is to be there and very Four Seasons style, talk to every single guest, know about every single check and what's happening at every single table. And that's productive to a point, but it doesn't set you up to let your team and your business really grow, right? And so I think we try to avoid our default modes all the time, and we teach our team to do exactly the same.
Being in the agency world, there's this very smart strategy to like narrow your focus and your positioning and say like, hey, we only build websites for dentists. Like that's what we do. Then yes, you've essentially narrowed your available audience, and you've really focused in on that. And to that audience, it makes it really easy for you to be perceived as an expert because that's all you do. That sounds boring as hell to me. And it doesn't matter what the industry is. Like, I love hospitality, but I also love luxury. I also love automotive. I love e-commerce. Like, there's a lot of different spaces that I love to learn and experiment in and help clients grow their businesses, their brands in. And I think there's also a rewarding mechanism to that, because the things that we learn in one industry can absolutely translate to another because they're doing things differently. There's a lot the hospitality industry can learn from e-commerce brands, right? And there's a lot that e-commerce brands could learn from hospitality brands, right?
I think that this myopic view of I only sell hotel rooms to this demographic in this market, and that's your business, I think you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're constraining yourself for no good reason. And I think that especially right in hospitality, in luxury, in lifestyle, the biggest mistake we can make is think that we're selling a physical product, right? If you're an hotelier, you're not selling a bed. Or in other words, maybe you are, but you're not getting that incremental price premium by selling a bed. You're selling this really amazing lifestyle, this experience, and you're selling this moment of you walk in the front door and you're recognized. You go to the cocktail bar and your favorite drink is just ready for you. I joke with my team all the time that we're not in the cocktail business. Like, what really drives people to my business is that they want to be a part of this environment, and they want to be a part of this world that is so sexy and aspirational and beautiful and curated. And I think that's what separates the good from the greats. And I think it's to use your example, it's so dangerous to only tell yourself that you are running a business that sells websites to dentists, right? Or only sells martinis to people in Brooklyn, right? Because you constrain how you think about your market, right? You constrain how you think about where you can and cannot compete, and you constrain your relevance, right? I think we set ourselves up for failure, without a doubt. Does that resonate?
It does, but it also begs the question of how do you convince the team and the staff to follow that? Because to them, they might be coming in there because this is just another job and this is just the paycheck that I need to get. And I'm going to make a decent martini tonight, right? How do you
Totally.
convey that? And something I've always thought is like, you can't train passion, right? You'll find it and then you nurture it. Like, how does that translate? How do you convey that? How do you pass that along and pass that baton in a way that it feels sincere and they can run with it?
Totally. I think it's a really good question. And our industry is one that is run by people doing like really hard work, right? And these are like thankless, grueling jobs, and everyone has to do them for this to stand up. The way I've framed this throughout my career is we all do these jobs. We all pick up dirty dishes from restaurant tables, but we all do this because the brand is so spectacular. And like everything that we do supports this much broader vision of what we're building. So we take our teams all over the city, all over the country to hotels and members clubs and restaurants and cocktail bars and just beautiful spaces that are just so inspiring to us to double down on, hey, we're building this, right? And everything that we do supports this incredible experience. And I think once you experience that, it's really hard to lose sight of why it's so important. I think it's our job as leaders to infuse every single discussion, every pre-shift meeting, every weekly touch-base meeting with like, these are the real nitty-gritty things that we have to do, and never lose sight of reframing that within this larger brand vision. How can I get people excited about the vision that I have and build it alongside them and build it with them and make them feel super engaged and super involved?
It's one thing to have like a big grand vision. It's another thing to like break it down and like ladder it up, right? What are the steps that we need to take to kind of get there and achieve that vision? A lot of it's outside of our control. Like we can only do so much. We can create the best experience. We can have the best food, have the best cocktails. We can do all of these things. If it doesn't resonate and the guests don't show up.
For us at Bar Rêve, there's two of us with very different skill sets. And this has been a huge unlock for us. And I also think it's a great entrepreneurial lesson that partnership can be really powerful if done in the right way. Neither one of us could do this on our own. I'm really good at building and structuring and strategizing. Victor is an incredible operator. It's an incredible ballet of zooming out and zooming in and zooming out and zooming in all the time to make sure that you keep people focused on this grand vision. You tie every single thing that you do on the ground up to this larger vision. So I am a huge believer in reframing all leadership towards like a very clear vision, very clear aspiration that you're trying to achieve as a company, as a brand, that people can see and people believe you. And that's critical, right? If no one believes you, people are going to like jump ship really fast. They have to believe that you can accomplish these things. Therefore, like 18-hour days are bearable, right? And they want to do them because they want to work alongside you to build this thing.
Thanks for listening to Not Quite a Podcast. To hear new episodes, view the archive, or find out more about being a guest on the show, visit notquiteapodcast.com.